I mean, what is your reaction to the different ways the situation in Mariupol is being described?
Well, I must say that it's quite obvious that the whole city of Mariupol haven't fallen yet. I mean, there is still fighting going on in the city, as far as I understand, and it's limited to a factory area in there, a steel factory, which is actually a huge complex within Mariupol. I've been to the city many times, and this is like a very, very big factory that used to employ thousands of workers, and they're still fighting in there. But it is true that, I mean, the fighting is limited to that part of Mariupol, which, means that Russian forces have, control of the rest of the city, as far as we understand. And the situation within this factory, where some Ukrainian soldiers are still holding this territory, is very dire. I mean, they are cut off from supply routes. They are, as far as I understand, limited in the number of ammunition they have, food, and access to water.
How important is Mariupol as far as Putin is concerned from a strategic point of view? Does it help him, if secured, to then launch further attacks on other parts of Ukraine?
Yes, it does. I mean, it's been taking quite a large part of the Russian army to take this city, and longer that the Ukrainian forces have been holding out, the more forces have been barbed down and couldn't be moved to other parts of Ukraine. So yes, it has a significance for the number of Russian troops that can be moved other places. And the city is significant generally also for Russia, because it is a city that you need to control the Sea of Azov. And the whole industry in the area, and also having what they call like a land bridge, a land connection between Crimea and into the two separatist-held areas, Donetsk and Luhansk.
And just recently, of course, we've heard from the mayor of Mariupol saying there are still 100,000 citizens there that need to be evacuated. What's going wrong, do you think, there?
I think that it has been very, very difficult to evacuate people. We have heard about these humanitarian corridors. I mean, like corridors that were supposed to be established after agreement between Ukraine and Russia, were supposed to allow like a safe passage of civilians out of the city. They haven't been working properly. We have heard like Ukraine claim that Russian forces have been shooting at civilians after they have left through these humanitarian corridors. And then I think we also have to understand that a number of civilians just simply doesn't want to leave. That's not unique to Mariupol only. That's also in general what we are seeing in eastern Ukraine, is that while most people would like to leave, especially when the bombs start to fall, there is also a significant part of people who actually want to stay, no matter what, simply because they don't know where to go. They don't necessarily have any savings or any family in the rest of Ukraine, and don't want to live as refugees.
There's all this talk about Mariupol being liberated by the Russian forces. I mean, I know it's very hard to gauge what people in Russia are quite being told, but do you think they would buy that as a way of describing what is going on? Is that what they are understanding, that a city has been liberated by Russia rather than invaded and destroyed?
It's really, really hard to tell. I think that what we hear is that to some extent, yes, Russians do believe that. For me, it's very, very hard to verify whether that is true, but we know that is the narrative they're getting told by state TV and, the written press, and that it does have some, that actually quite a lot of Russians seems to believe that. And we also heard, from civilians, for example, not necessarily only in Mariupol, but in other parts of Ukraine, who have said that when the Russian forces also arrived, they actually did believe that they were coming as liberators, and that the Ukrainian civilians would celebrate their arrival, which has been far from the truth.